Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to another recording of Hearthstone. So, the Rise of the Shadows solo adventure is out. It said it was going to come out in a week. It started saying that on Tuesday, and it's come out on Thursday. Today is Friday because I didn't bother to even check to see if it was going to come out yesterday until nearly midnight. So we're a little late, and frankly, it's 100% on Hearthstone's feet for that one. They are so bad about announcing the dates. It makes no sense at all. Why can't they give a real day? Instead, just trying to get people to check login every day. It's terrible, terrible customer service. Maybe it's for marketing reasons to get you to actually log in every day, but most people are just gonna miss it at that point. Also, I wouldn't be surprised if this is like the previous single player expansions that we had to pay for, which we do have to pay for some of the weeks here. Maybe we'll get the first week for free. I wouldn't be surprised if the first taste is a lot shorter than the rest of the game. So if there's like only one fight, I wouldn't be surprised.
A splendid floating city of magic. I think we will take it.
So here we have more World of Warcraft lore. World of Warcraft Classic is soon to be out or out now, I'm not sure. This is definitely different looking than what we've seen up until this point, because it's always been either from the top going down in shelves or from the bottom going up in shelves, and now we have a map.
Everyone split up. For this plan to work, we must each do our part.
But really, so far, seems like this is just going to be a slight change visually while still doing the exact same thing, because it can't really change it too much. It's going to be a series of bosses that we're going to have to fight. So we're going to break into the Bank of Delirian and to loot its most precious artifacts, twist coin-filled coffers. This chapter is on us. Enjoy. So yeah, the first week is free, but unless I am completely mistaken on how this works, we're gonna have to wait a week after we do this free week.
We be taking all the loot.
Ideally, if this is a good experience, you would want to just play through it all real fast and hopefully ask that it is interesting enough that you would want to come back and play it multiple times. They have certainly in the previous solo adventures that have been expanded on before this, where they came out free and they were kind of randomized battles working your way up a ladder. With daily quests, they've gotten us to play things like the Rumble Run and the Dungeon Run over and over again, a lot more than what I did for, say, Nexramas. This also seems to have an anomaly mode. For the duration of the run, a random effect is active. Own all chapters to unlock this mode. So there is some kind of variation here. We will earn 3 packs for reaching the 5th boss in this chapter. And I have been saving gold, so after the solo expansion is out, theoretically I'll open some more packs and
We have recruited an
unlock
elite
some
band
things.
of disenfranchised miscreants. Each have their own strengths.
Okay. So this seems strange, because the way this seems to work is we can play as the mage, I think only the mage right now, but then theoretically after the first game we probably could play as the shaman and the hunter. But then we have to wait for week 2 to unlock 2 more characters, specifically for the Delarian heist. So are we gonna get the other chapters also? It seems like they've done some weird recursive thing where when week 2 comes out, we're going to have to come back into this section and beat them with this and this. And then when week 3 comes back, we'll have to come back into this section and beat it with this and this. And when week 4 happens, we'll have to beat it with this and this. It
What you call a criminal element.
seems like there's actually a lot of grinding that you're gonna have to do. And yes, this has the heroic mode, which I've never bothered to do the heroic mode in any of the solo adventures because it's just too much time for a dumb card back. So we'll be playing as Rakanishu, the mischievous fire element from Togwaggle's Lantern. Let's jump into the game.
As we plunder the riches of Dalaran, we will gain ever greater kleptomaniacal skills.
So it seems like we are locked behind this basic Fire Blast ability until we summon elementals and freeze minions. Man, this really does seem like we're just going to have to do a ton of grinding here. They've brought it to a level of almost an RPG in card game form.
You will begin with a modest deck. The rest of our cards we will take.
Let's see. And yeah, we apparently have to defeat 15 bosses. I don't think you get all of this done in the next 4 weeks. Not unless you spend a ridiculous amount of time grinding through this. Your opponent starts the game with a cache of cash.
The guards and citizens of Dalaran will rise against us. Play dirty. Defeat them.
And at this point, it's taken like 6 clicks to get to this screen, where previous solo adventures it would have only taken 1 or 2 clicks to get to the screen. There's a lot going on here that doesn't make a lot of sense. I kind of almost would like to see this succeed though, because frankly playing ranked ladder Hearthstone has been burned out in my mind. It's like I've done enough of that. So if they were to have a solo adventure where you could just constantly level up and unlock new abilities and unlock new cards, at least then you're doing some breadcrumbing to and adding some new features at the same time, making it make a lot more sense to play 500 games, whereas
Next in line.
ranked play previous to this point wanted you to win 500 ranked games just to get a golden border around your hero. Right.
Big gods, adventurers. Bah! Nobody is wanting us to be stealing loot for some reason.
So we could get 2 coins by destroying that. What does
I was
this
still
do?
living when this line started.
Let's see. Swipe the leftmost card in each player's hand with 1 in the deck. Okay. So it seems like it's gonna do that a lot. So
No cutting.
we're gonna have to be somewhat careful.
Rakanishu, be stepping from my lap for the skulking about and burning.
So hit that.
Next.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like we're doing too much here. Well, see, this sucks because if I play this to give this health, I can't. It would just be a wasted coin. But we'll do it anyways, just for safety play. We still are just playing Hearthstone. We just have a unique, weak character here, which we've seen this before. This is only a slight variation of AFK, which I assume there's probably some more to what's being done here. Right. Let's go ahead and do this, and do this, and sure. This should cost less. Nope, it didn't cost less. Oh, apparently it was
Sorry, this is the wrong line.
not
Next.
what I thought it was.
Waiting can be so tiring, huh?
So we're trying to play elementals and we're doing a decent job at that. And we're trying to freeze enemies if we can. Let's see. Discover a mage minion or play an elemental.
Let's be bad guys.
Let's do this.
Just like you.
And then let's do this. And then let's take that out. And then end the turn. For the first enemy, this is
back in line for this.
pretty simplistic. Unless they have a lot of spells that they've been building up and they're somehow going to do 11 damage to me.
Low on fuel.
Let's see. I could restore 3 health, or I could restore 4 health after a taunt. Let's go ahead and do that. And that. And then that.
Job done.
So if this character, I barely have anything to say here because this is kind of obvious. If this character had some kind of cards collection like Exodia from Yu-Gi-Oh, this ability would be amazingly powerful. But Hearthstone doesn't have anything like that, so it's not really powerful at all. And the only thing I want to do left is, let's see, just do that for safety's sake and then win.
Oh no.
So I was just trying to play as many cards as possible, which probably doesn't even matter too much because I don't think I'll be able to.
Soon to be ours.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be able to pick a new hero power or pick a new deck until after this run anyways. Equip a random weapon, give it +1/+1. At the new turn, randomize the cost of all the cards in your hand. Spells cost health instead of mana. Random would mean no control, so that's pretty much the only option.
With each victory, our evil organization grows in power. Choose wisely to enhance your deck.
So we'll take this multicast deck.
City's defenders grow more difficult as we progress. I recommend you stop cheating.
And if this is like any of the previous ladder runs like this, there's probably 2 or 3 enemies at the first couple of rungs, and then 2 or 3 different kinds of enemies around the second couple of runs, and so on and so on. I'm not really sure for dungeon runs and rumble runs if I've seen all of the characters even now. I wouldn't be surprised if there's one rare one I've missed.
You've interrupted my healing.
It would be, I suppose, nice if you could pick your enemy at a certain point, but I don't know how you could do that. Let's see. One attack less, or I could just attack twice and win. Interesting. So we'll just do this, and then do this. Attack here in the turn, and we'll just speed run through this.
Just a few scratches.
Start of your turn, restore 2 health to all friendly minions. Well, that's easy enough. Alright. So play this. Play this. And I guess play this. And then win. And I think that's fair enough. Like, we don't really need to see a full playthrough on that character, because eventually, if you subscribe to my channel and watch all my Hearthstone streams, almost certainly we will get daily quests telling us to come back and do these solo quests. At this level, I would kind of hope that they would take out the previous daily quests, so we're not left potentially having 3 daily quests that that occur where we're just playing all solo for one day. Your first spell each turn costs 0. Battlecry, discover a spell. It's an interesting legendary card. The cards that came out for this expansion were fine, but not anything particularly special. So I'm not really of the opinion that the Rise of the Shadows expansion has been amazingly good. It's been fine. Just very much just a stair step. A lot of cards felt like they were replacing cards that had been put into Wild for no reason, or they were just power creeping cards that have been replaced in Wild, where honestly there's a very good argument, I think, to be made to say that they should at this point consider having this is great. This will just return to my hand. They should have bring back some of the cards from Wild and just say, look, these cards don't need to be put in Wild because they're not overpowered, and it's ridiculous to do the Magic the Gathering thing and have cards that are just the exact same as previous cards by different names and by different art. I would also say that Magic the Gathering probably is going to have a lot more lasting power than Hearthstone is. I would have thought it's 4 or 5 years into Hearthstone being out, they would have maybe thought about printing a card version of this for for not as the main focus, but just as for a side thing that they could sell. I would also have kind of thought that they would have done some more innovative things instead of mostly doing the same thing that every other card game seems to have done.
This isn't Moonblade.
There's a lot more crazy things that could happen, certainly, in the digital card game. Things that couldn't happen otherwise. What is this doing, by the way? At the end of your turn, what does that say? Merrily rotate all minions around the board. Oh. It's hard to read. The text is so small. It's just plain elemental, I guess. Kind of doesn't matter what we do. We're just trying to play elementals and try and play free spells. Building up our RPG character with experience. Let's see. We want to play this, I guess. I could win right now. Is there any danger of me losing? I don't think there is.
Job's done.
I wonder what would happen on this hero ability if both sides had 7 characters on the field. Would it account for that, or would it destroy one minion? See, I guess the only way I could find out is if I waited another turn, and I don't think I want to do that. 2 random mage spells to your hand. Do I have any other elementals to play? No. So we'll do this. Let's see. Do that. That really isn't gonna matter what we do, so let's just win. Trying to just play through this rather quickly. And I am taking note that none of my daily quests, which I didn't look at, seem to be coordinating with anything I'm doing right now. So, later on today, I will have to do a standard Hearthstone stream and get the daily quest done, talk about video game news. Let's see, and this means this is going to be a long day at this rate. Today, let's see, this has Taunt, Battlecry, replace all other cards with random legendary minions. Let's see. Battlecry, recall all spells you cast on this minion this run. Or recast all minions. See, this is actually pretty terrible because that means you would have had to cast spells on this, then gotten it back into your hand so that you could summon it a second time to use its battle cry, because its first time it's summoned there will have been no spells cast on it, almost certainly. And there, to my knowledge, is no card that will trigger a battle cry after the card is already on the field. This one seems the simplistic. This seems to be easily the right choice. Although we could do this. But I don't want random legendary minions. It kind of defeats the purpose of choosing what cards you want to play. We could go mech, or we could go big. I'll just go big.
Inns and taverns of Dalaran are combat-free and host all sorts of despicable types, including us.
Bartender Bob. Interesting. So he's a different tavern master than the tavern master that runs Hearthstone. Modify your adventure deck this run, add or remove minions, and more. This is different. This looks very, very different.
I always love meeting a new customer. Come on in.
So this seems like a puzzle. Choose a friendly minion, remove it from your adventure deck. Choose a friendly minion, give it +2/+2 for this round. Well, let's see.
Take your time. Enjoy the atmosphere.
Let's start with him.
Oh, look. You've made a friend.
And what would we want to remove? Let's see. We just got that. This is kind of
all
a
types around here.
slow.
I've heard this story before. It's a good one.
So do I want to remove this, or do I want to just say I'm done?
Let's be bad guys.
I'm just gonna
Come
click
back
done.
again soon now.
And apparently that was
Whoa,
that.
he's keeping all the loot for himself. There is being
Interesting.
no honor among thieves.
That certainly does change this run compared to the previous runs, though, because now we have the Lich King and we've powered up our Sorcerer's Apprentice. I guess that counted as one of the challenges, and that wasn't so much a puzzle as just a modification. Will we run into Bartender Bob a second time in a run, or do we only sometimes see him in runs, or do we always see him once in a run? Well, that certainly was not expected. I don't know how much that really changed things, though. Also, let's see. Give a random friendly minion Divine Shield and Taunt. We'll start with this, and then return. He's gonna play a bunch of spells. Interesting. What is his ability? Whenever you play a card, play a coin, draw a card. Interesting.
Someday I'll be just like you.
Let's go ahead and do this. Play this. Play this. And play this. Now I've got three things on the field.
Mo at least one kind of smart. Coin for card, card for coin.
There we go. Possibly not the best choice there, but I'm just trying to burn through this run. I'm not sure here. I'm not sure if we need to do just one run, or if we need to do one run as the mage and do one run as the shaman and do one run as the hunter. And theoretically, you would stretch this out over the course of a week if you were going to play Hearthstone every day, which is not any way I want to play Hearthstone, certainly. And I'm not sure if this expansion, the solo adventure, does anything to bring in new players or help new players learn, because this is more complicated than pretty much anything we've ever seen. I would say even the puzzle solo expansions that happened before explain themselves better than what's happening here. And if I succeed on the first try, that would be great, and it's possible, but I also wouldn't be surprised if I do just fail on the second to last boss, or the first boss, or the last boss.
You are not long for this world.
Let's see. I would have gotten rid of the dragon if I could have. But it was a random pick of cards, pretty much. Two random minions to your hand, draw 3 cards, discard any of their spells. I guess that would be what I'd want to do. And I'm just gonna wait until there's something I can play. Each player draws 2 cards. On the turn.
One shot, one kill.
What's this ability? Deal 2 damage to a damaged minion. Okay. Don't want to add a random mage spell.
You want to cast a spell? I want to cast a spell.
Deal 2 damage. And at this point, I'll attack here. I guess there's nothing else to do, it's just to end the turn. And I have to remember there's no rope or time limit here because I'm playing solo. This, and then this, and let's see, is there anything else I could do? Don't think so. If this was always going to give a random minion in my hand +1/+1, I could have used it earlier. Let's see. How we want to do this. Secret. And if I play one more, I could restore my health. Probably should put that on the field and wait till next turn.
My shield for Argus.
Things like this, when you change the rules, certainly have a slowing down effect compared to just playing regular Hearthstone. At least the way I play regular Hearthstone, which is to not pay much attention and just do what I know will probably work. because there's a lot of familiarity, certainly, with the cards and what they'll do, usually speaking, at least.
My eyes are open.
Alright, so now I attack here. Because I attack here, that means I can attack with that one in return. This feels like these runs are random enough that some people are probably going to have a really bad time on some of these runs, and some people are going to have a really good time on some of these runs, but most people will probably be right in the middle, having a average time, for lack of a better term. Let's see. Is there any other reason to keep this? I don't think there is, so we'll just attack. Still just trying to play in elementals and freeze characters. That's... let's see. Play this. Freeze a character. Play this. Freeze that. And move on.
Behind a big old beast, huh?
Shield for Argus.
Let's see. 10th turn, I can win with this. Otherwise, I can do something like this. If I'd done 2 damage to this, I could have then used this to do that, but I guess I can just do that. Alright. And then freeze again. And moving on. This would be a hard sell, certainly, not knowing what it was. So the free week is definitely necessary. Replacing the starting hero power with a random Death Knight 1. After you play a minion, shuffle 2 copies into your deck. They cost 1 mana. After a friendly minion dies, gain 2 armor. This would give me a decent amount of armor, but probably not a lot. This would give me an infinite number of minions, so I could just play forever. This would give me a Death Knight ability that I have no idea which Death Knight ability it would give me, or how good that would be. Let's stick with this, because that's more controlled. At least we know what that's going to do. Well, we can get Archmage Antonidas here, or we can get it over here. Let's see, take a second turn if you cast 6 spells you didn't have at the beginning. Discover a spell, whenever you draw a card, gain +1/+1. I'm gonna take this.
Taverns being full of despicable characters. Watch your candles.
So this is Bartender Bob again, and I imagine this will be slightly different offerings. Friendly encounter. Interesting.
Rakanishu, the scamp from the lab. You always brighten my day.
Okay. Look at 4 spells in your deck. Reduce the cost of 1 by 3 for this run. Increase your starting health by 5. I don't see any reason why you wouldn't want to play that. Discover legendary minion, add it to your deck. Choose a friendly minion, remove it. Choose an enemy minion, add it to your deck. So I guess this is what they mean by cheating. I don't know if I want to steal an enemy minion here. This will be interesting because this guy theoretically should give me a spell that I could play, but it shouldn't work. And this guy should theoretically do damage when I play these spells. But I think that's why we're not actually using mana, we're using some kind of new currency. So let's see this one. I want to reduce it by 3. Let's see. And add a bunch of copies. Each player draws 2 cards. These would be probably what I want. Okay, so I have that. And that did not trigger after you cast a spell, so technically these aren't even spell cards. Because that would have triggered both of these. Do I want to discover legendary or just start my health by 5? Feels like increasing my health by 5 is not a significant increase. And I can dismiss something. Or I could steal something.
Maximum chaos.
Let's steal this. And then let's dismiss this.
Get him out of here.
Okay.
Safe travels.
So hopefully that was the right move.
Make Orc pay for yield curve inversion of bond market.
So there's like 2 more after this, challenge 7 and challenge 8. And as with other runs like this, our health goes up a little bit with each run.
Versus Banker Biggs.
There's been no real indication that
Sorry, this one's not for sale.
by defeating all 8 of the bosses will unlock anything special, but I imagine we'll have to do that at least once. But it may not be necessary to do it really fast. Okay, so after I play this, I'll get 2 1-mana things. So, and I could attack here. Is there a reason I need to attack here?
Let's be bad guys.
I think there kind of is a reason.
Job done.
People come to me when they want to start really making money. I'm calling security.
Let's see. So we could play this right now, and we kind of need to.
Someday I'll be just like you.
Alright, that did what I thought it was going to do. What is this ability? Return a friendly minion to your hand, give it +4/+4. So I need to be careful that he doesn't have any minions on this field. Let's see. What? Apparently this gets upgraded every time I attack. I'm gonna have to investigate that. That's weird.
You take long candle.
Like, there's really nothing here that says that would happen. Let's do this. And take that. And play this.
Oh, will you be putting that into savings then?
Yeah, this thing gets powered up every attack. Why? Why would that be the case?
Combo smash!
Is that some ability I unlocked? Right. So he's got another treasure chest here that's 4. There's a death rattle of drawing 2 cards for him, which I don't really want to do.
I ain't talking.
Daughters of Flame, awaken!
You gotta be kidding me!
Let's see.
Someday I'll be just like you.
Deal 4 to a random enemy. Sure. Feel like I'm in a kind of dangerous position. Okay. Play this. Play this. Do this. Do that.
Right.
Do that. And then the turn.
It's clobbering time.
Ready to flee!
Okay.
Warriors of the frozen wastes, rise.
Hand it over.
Kill that, I guess. And then we'll do this. I'm not finding a lot of opportunities to power up my character.
Go away!
Let's play another elemental. Another elemental. And do this. And another elemental. Let's see how we want to do this now. 6, 4 won't work. That freezes it, minimum. And then this would kill it. While also killing my guy. That lets me do that, so that seems like that was a decent trade.
I ain't talking.
Clobbering time.
I ain't talking.
Let's stash that away.
Just let's suppose we have enough here to do this. Okay, now we just need to do 7 damage, which we could do through this. And we might have enough to win here. I guess we could do this and see what happens there.
Fry!
And then do that.
They can't all be winners.
And then this.
Hand it over.
That. And I'd be 1 short. So we might as well wait till next turn. If he somehow manages to do 32 damage in this turn, then that would be amazing, certainly. But that would also be pretty cheating. Yeah, 1 more turn to play 1 more elemental. 1 more turn to freeze things as much as possible. It doesn't feel like these enemies are particularly difficult. Either that or I've gotten pretty lucky. Also, though, I would fairly admit that we've done this several times before, so it's not surprising that this is kind of easy. Now, these last 2 will be the difficult ones, certainly, and you'll probably see a power spike in these last 2.
Versus Sky Captain Smiggs.
The art style does not look the same anymore, and I guess we could get into the backstory of what's happening at Activision Blizzard a little bit and say that a lot of the people who originally worked on Hearthstone, particularly Ben Brode, the person who was the figurehead and the main guy behind Hearthstone, have left Blizzard, and the parent company Activision is not doing well and potentially approaching a bankruptcy. So yeah, it wouldn't be surprising if the artist has left. Let's see. Need to play his secrets more than anything else, but I want to kind of wait too, so I'm just gonna wait. And this guy seems to only say 1 sound effect, even though what he's saying in text is different, which is a little weird. Let's see. Seriously. This time it's not getting powered up, so that was only that specific weapon. Let's see. Discover a mage minion. That's probably not a super helpful mage card I just played. What does this one do? Destroy a random enemy minion. Notice this guy is at 70 health, whereas I was only at like 50. Deal 2 damage to all minions, take 2 turns to reload. So, in previous runs, there was a specific card, at least in one of the previous runs, there was a specific card that would double your ability to it would double your health, your starting health, and very often if you did not get that card to double your starting health, you were in a poor position by the time you got to the 7th or 8th boss. And I feel like I'm pretty much in that poor position. So I may just lose here. And I guess there would be a way to concede and get out of these runs if you wanted to. Although that's probably not the way to do things. 3 damage to all other minions? Sure. I did not play quite right there, but that worked relatively well.
Lead you to master.
And this guy's playing Fugan, which is a card that was banned and put in the wild. So it seems like they kind of are, in a weird way, in some weird, strange way, it seems like they are bringing back older cards, but not for regular play, which I'd like to see Fugan Solid potentially come back for even regular play, but this is, I guess, a nice middle ground so people don't forget that that card even existed, because it's been a long time since Nexramus. Well, we can do that. We need to do that. We can do that. So I play that also. I am low on health. Okay. This is gonna be crazy, but let's do this. I thought it was gonna bring back 2 minions. Interesting. I didn't realize it was gonna be just 2 random minions.
Let's be bad guys.
Okay, well. I don't know how to use that card, clearly. That's clearly not what I intended to happen. I intended to try and have a bunch of the exact same cards. Let's see. If I do this, this, transform, elemental, dragon,
Job's done.
in the chat.
Light those fuses!
He has 13 cards where I have 31 cards, so if I could eliminate all his cards, that would be doable.
Do not
Suppose this works.
fear those who wield it.
So now, when I do something like this, it'll have life still and heal me up. So,
Side effects? No.
This will deal 1 damage, and if it kills a minion, it will summon another elemental. Let's see. This. And that. See, I kind of don't want to play this, even.
Almost ready for another round.
And yeah, I guess we just keep doing this. We'll be back to full health before soon.
All cannons fire! Avast, matey! Load your own cannons and fire!
Discover a mage spell. And what do we want to do? And we could play this guy, there's no real reason not to.
You require my assistance?
I'm just gonna replace... What? Why did that not summon a water elemental? The whole point there was for me to summon a water elemental.
Job's done.
I know we have more cannonballs.
Right, well, this I think will still work fine. 45 is our maximum health though, so we're just mostly sticking to our max health. But this is working. Of course, I was probably going to lose. Let's be honest, I probably was going to lose if I hadn't played Frostlich Jaina. Let's see.
To battle!
I want to play an elemental, but I don't want to play that elemental right now.
That's it. That's all we've got.
Okay, and play an elemental, deal damage, and win. It suddenly got very long. That was a real length of a game where previous battles were kind of short and easy, although I've been trying to make each of the previous battles short and easy. Take an extra turn, your opponent takes an extra turn after. Each turn this is in your hand, transform it into a random treasure. Battlecry, replace all other cards with your random legendary minions. I'll just take the box. Freeze enemies, ice block, draw cards. I'll just take another ice block.
His biggest, most important goblin. You can tell by belly.
So this is the last challenge. So unless I screw this up and lose, which there's a decent chance of that happening, we'll possibly never have to play as the mage again, or we'll have to play as the mage 4 more times for the 4 other week runs. I think it's so important to have Frostlich Jaina that I'm going to hold on to it at the first draw. And now we have the box too. Let's see. After you play a card, replay it. Targets chosen randomly. Sure, why not? Let's see how this works.
The worst deal in the history of Azeroth. I want to cast
Get a copy of the first card your opponent plays each turn for a coin. So he just stole a rather important card from me. Oops. I should have looked at his hero power first.
It would be impossible to crack this ball. But what do I see here? A whole crew of crooks standing in front of me.
Let's see. Now if I play this
Something out of this deal.
and then play this and then take this, it does trigger on the second play. So he is going to get a card every card I play regardless. Let's go and kill that. I don't know if that's necessary or helpful.
I don't usually like to get my hands dirty, but I gotta protect my investments. Stash that away.
Okay, so we do this then, and then we play this. And let's see. Gonna play this. That leaves me with a decent amount of cards to potentially play where I could get Fireball rather early with Archmage and Tinnitus.
Spells are fun. So fun.
Or I could try to bring out Frostlich Jaina really early, which maybe is necessary, maybe isn't.
Say the magic word. Say the magic word.
This is a new special card. Let's see. Destroy a minion, replace it. What do we want to do? We can give him a coin, which is useless to him now.
That's an even trade.
Okay. Gallywix coin, Gallywix coin. Play this.
Require my assistance.
And then I want to do this rather quickly, so I'm going to do this.
Aha!
And this.
Aha!
And this.
Aha!
So I've got these ready to go. And I'll just do that.
Aha!
And I don't think there's a reason not to do this, so we'll do that. What's weird is it showed me that it played evasion, and I don't know why it did that. Whether that was a glitch or there's some kind of cheat that, like, because he just played a rogue secret, and it didn't show me what that rogue secret was that time. So I don't know what happened there. And
For the master.
that. And I'll just put more of those.
I'll buy it nice and cheap.
And what do we want to do? Nothing. I guess we'll just end the turn there. Interesting. I don't know if I've cast any spells that cost 5 or more. What is this? Start your turn, deal 1 damage to your hero. Oh, that's not one card I want. It's this one. Whenever your opponent plays a card, remove the top 3 cards from your deck. Okay.
Greed is good.
Right. So I kind of want this card to stay on the field. Okay. Let's... Can we do all of this? Here? And coin. So that's the first card he does. And then play this.
Do not fear power. Fear those who wield it.
And do I want to play one more card? Because I kind of need to kill this. The others I think I can just leave.
You want to cast a spell? I want to cast a spell.
So I'm playing really carefully here. I don't want to lose. Although it does seem like that's less likely to happen. Okay. What can I do? This won't deal enough damage.
Do you have any idea how much I've invested in this place?
Okay. Let's start with that. We'll save those coins for later.
I'll take one of those.
Alright, we've got it. I think we've got it now. Just play this. And he's not drawing any more cards. Darn it. So that probably means we don't need you on the field anymore. And we could do one more bit of damage, but I don't see a reason to.
So fun.
Let's see. Oh, you know what? I should have killed this guy instead with my hero ability. Next turn. So we've got him now fatigued, where he's just going to get the same cards as I do, which I'll just give him coins always by playing a coin like this first, then doing this.
So fun.
This should translate into one of these, yes. Okay. I can now draw more cards, or just do that, I guess. And that's a good turn. This will take me a couple turns, but we'll have it. There's a minion, deal 1 damage to next to it. Again, if I play a coin right now, that's still the best move. And well, actually I should have played draw 3 cards, because he can't do anything with draw 3 cards anyways. And it's a little silly, but I'm gonna do damage to this in the hopes that if I make it to 2 turns, I would then summon another one of those. Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's anything he could do. So yeah, I give him draw 3 cards.
This was worth it.
That does nothing. Can play that.
But I take.
And I may have enough to win on this turn. Yep. So I'd say we got maybe 25% luck to get a victory on the first try, but it did seem pretty easy too. And usually when these happen, it's actually really easy.
What's happening elsewhere in the city?
So the first run always seems like it's super easy, and then the next runs are always a lot more difficult. Or trying to win the exact same thing a second time seems to get more difficult. We unlock Burning Wit. Reduce the cost of a random card in your hand by 2. We did that by summoning 25 elementals. We unlocked the elementals deck by defeating 5 bosses. Interesting. I would have thought we would have done more than that. And we got Chapter 1 reward. Bank pays dividends. And that changed the art. So, let's see. Chapter 2. To unlock this. Unlock the full adventure would be $19.99, or we can just pay 700 gold, and that's what I'm gonna do. Okay. And that's the Violet Hold. So can we just unlock everything?
Magical beasts
filled these prison cells. Such beautiful creatures. We must unleash them.
So yeah, it seems like the first two are available for purchase now, but the other two aren't. And the reasons why you would want to play this would seemingly be very few. Like, yeah, it seems like what you're going to be left with is you'll have your first character you're supposed to win with, and then you'll have the 8 other characters that will eventually unlock over the next 4 weeks, but there'd be no reason to really play them unless there's a reward for it, and it seems like there's not going to be any reward at all other than anomaly mode. Let's take a step like all the way back here. Heroic mode is the same thing but even more difficult.
Heroic mode increases the difficulty.
Yeah, sorry, skip that. We know what heroic mode is going to do. And it's the same characters, it's just way more difficult. So it seems like for this first week, we can do the first two, and so we'll just do the first two and get 6 packs. Although, let's separate that up a little bit. Probably should take a break. For most people, I would say that would be the right move, is to take a break. Yeah, and I think for just recording's sake, I will do that too. We'll just break this up, and that way I'll make 2 videos for the 2 sections, and that way it'll work just fine. Getting Rise of the Shadow card packs is good and all. There definitely are some epics and legendaries I don't have, and possibly even some commons and rares I don't have. However, there was no specific card that comes to mind that I want from Rise of the Shadows. Although it probably would help in the long run to work towards a complete collection of Rise of the Shadows, considering I already have a complete collection of the classic cards. So 24 out of how do I have 24 card packs? Cards. Wait a minute. I opened 3 card packs. Each has 5. That would have been 15. So there's apparently some cards I had that needed to be dusted anyways. Oops on that, or maybe the game's glitched. So yeah, this is not a new card that it's saying is new. This is, so now I have 2 of those. This is, so I now have 2 of those. This is not a new card. This is not a new card, unless, well, it's not Rise of the Shadows card. This is a gold version, so I'm not keeping gold, I'm dusting it. Actually a pretty good amount of dust, actually, so it's probably time to go back to HS Replay and hsreplay.net and see what I could build as far as top tier cards. Let's see, so if I look by the key phrase missing on Rise of the Shadows, there's, yeah, legendaries and epics. Not a significant amount of any legendaries and epics, though, just what would be expected. Is a epic that's a gold that's probably worth keeping, at least for now. There is one reason to keep gold, but it is kind of a crazy reason. It would be on the idea, nothing is missing here by classic, and I don't think there'd be much reason to try to get Witchwood or Boomsday or Rumble cards. You would keep gold on the idea that a gold card would be nerfed and not moved into wild. So gold classic cards pretty much. And as for my daily quests, yeah, that's not something that's gonna happen. Challenge a friend may be very hard to get done, quite frankly. So I think that's a good point to end week 1 or chapter 1 of Rise of the Shadows. If you're watching live, we'll do chapter 2 in just a few seconds. If you're watching pre-recorded, then this video will end here. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. If you want to friend or follow me, if you want to support me even further, there's a link to Patreon. Or you could friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist to support me. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening. Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Hearthstone. The solo adventure Rise of the Shadows is, or I guess it's called the Delarian Heist, is unlocked finally with terrible announcement and terrible scheduling. It came out actually Thursday and today is Friday, so I didn't check until it was very late in the evening, nearly midnight, before I even launched Hearthstone yesterday. Because I'd been checking so often, I was like fairly certain it was going to happen next Tuesday. And they basically said it was going to happen next Tuesday because they said it was going to open in a week. And they started saying that was going to happen in a week on Tuesday. So I don't understand why they're so vague, why they can't just give a date and a time inside their app. So we have the Violet Hold, which will give us 3 packs, and the twist will be imprisoned minions, defeat guards from the magical prison, and unleash the horrors from within. Once we defeat everything, we'll have anomaly mode. But it's not once we defeat everything, it's once we own all the chapters. So I guess if you paid the $19.95, you could do anomaly mode right now. Maybe not, because maybe you don't technically own all the chapters until the weeks have unlocked. It's so weird. So we played as the mage before, and I thought that was we would be playing as different characters, but apparently not. So there's only one mage character, but they level up in an RPG fashion. So let's just play as the shaman character this time. This is a good revelation because frankly it was going to be crazy to have 5 chapters with each with 9 different characters that you would play as, but I wasn't really questioning that. So the RPG elements here are we need to summon 25 totems and overload 25 mana before we can get these other abilities, otherwise we're stuck with the default ability. And we need to defeat 5 bosses, 10 bosses, and 15 bosses, and if we win the entire run, then we would have only defeated 8 bosses. So if we get daily quests that tell us to come back and do this, which we almost certainly will, it'll be maybe 2 or 3 times that we'll have to play as each character to unlock everything. I don't think that there's actually much of a reward to unlock anything. It's just they're experimenting with trying to make it last longer. This is a new bad guy, but does that mean we're always going to fight different bad guys based on the character we select? Probably not. It's probably just a different bad guys based on which chapter we select. And frankly, even the Rumble Run bosses with their shrines felt like they were running out of ideas, so I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of these enemies we run into barely have anything interesting in their hero ability.
I'm a sharp one.
Okay. So we want to just win as fast as possible and get an idea of what our decks are about. This does 1 damage, combo does 2 damage.
What awaits within these prison cells?
So enemies will just be summoned onto the field at the beginning. Alright.
Job's done.
It's easy enough to work with. I assume we can't attack these prison cells, so they will just summon as time occurs.
Messina, your cold-blooded magics warm my black heart. Unleash havoc!
Let's just try to use our totem ability as much as possible.
Job's done.
And see, this summons on the 4th turn and we'll have charge and life steal. So there's a slight problem there, but really not much of one. Okay.
Size matters not.
Kill that. Back here. So we kind of have to keep keep in our minds the fact that how many totems we've summoned. 1 so far. Okay, this will be enough to win anyway, so I'll just do that.
This minion needs time to get ready.
Oh, oops.
Job's done.
Well, I guess then I still could have won, but I didn't. The one that probably played his Overload card, because that's the other thing we're trying to do.
But mostly the humiliation.
So do that, do that.
I am lethal. I have lethal.
Interesting, he says I have lethal. So pretty easy there to start with. A Wandering Wisdom ball occasionally gives you helpful advice. Your minions have permanent stealth. Your minions have rush. I would say having rush is better than helpful advice. This seems like this would be like the worst possible ability. Even if it did give you helpful advice, unless it actually changes the game somehow. Permanent stealth's not terrible, but I'll take rush over stealth. And then here we're going to be looking for things that could be either overload or totem based. I don't see anything like that. So then we're thinking late game, what would be the most useful? I can't help but think that Kelth Azul would be very useful. So on to the next fight we go.
Vecina versus Kizzy.
They seem to have a knife themes
Look what the
going
cat
on.
dragged in. Here for a cut.
This might just be a coincidence that they have two different characters that are somewhat around cutting. I'm gonna hold on to that just in case. Let's see. Give a friendly
Have you
minion a
considered going
random
purple?
haircut.
It suits you.
This seems crazy. That seems like that wouldn't do anything different. This will be a 3/5 that can be inspired to gain spell damage, but not while it's in the prison, I assume. Let's try that. Yeah, that doesn't seem like that inspired it. If it did, it would have given me spell damage increase. And this is a 4/5 with a death rattle. I'm somewhat goofing around here. Why is it taking 6 turns for that
We'll
to
take it from here.
break free?
Let's just take some off the sides. Snip, 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 snip.
So a haircut gave it stealth.
Knowledge is power, and I know a lot.
Let's see.
Now you're looking mean.
Now it was given +2. So a haircut potentially is some kind of buff. Oh yeah. And remember that all my characters have rush, so
Here's where you're wrong.
that works pretty well too. So I want to play this in this next turn, and then I'll probably win. Let's see that. Yep.
So,
Victory,
here's
move
where you're
forward.
wrong.
If I can get an easy victory, I'm just going to take it. There's no reason to stretch things out. Yeah. I doubt there's any great benefit to unlocking everything as quickly as possible, since it's fairly obvious there's no reward for doing that. You just get 3 card packs for beating the boss once, and that's it. I guess since this is the only overload card, we'll take that. Moving on. And these early games are short, which is great, but then the later games are long because you run into minions that, or enemies that have 45, 60 health.
Let us resolve this quickly.
Are you crashing my portal party?
Let's see. Let's trade out these two. A lot of this, though, does just feel like throwing spaghetti at the wall. Like, we can't know a strategy until we played the game once, so
Job's done.
you're just gonna try anything and everything. See what works. So, are they in prison? Yeah, they're in prison for as long as their mana count would be, so that's how that works. I'll just go ahead and start with that. And the art style, again, just does not feel like it matches the old art style. It feels like they got a new artist in to do things. And that's gonna be weird. I guess you could do that, certainly, though, is just continuously work your way up to a new artist and slowly shift what the art style of Hearthstone is into a different one. But I doubt they're gonna shift very much. It'll still be very colorful, kid-friendly graphics. The commercial that Hearthstone made, there's been a couple of them now, does look very pixel-ish, and as in the Pixels movies. So if they were going to move closer towards that direction, I wouldn't immediately complain about that. Let's see, what does this do? So just draw 2 Murlocs from my deck. I'm gonna just end my turn here and hold on to this attack. That being said, I think both the Overwatch cinematic trailers and the Hearthstone cinematic trailers are dangerously approaching false advertising. That they don't really look a lot like what they actually are selling. The Overwatch cinematic trailers in particular look like you're getting a Pixels cartoon of some sort, which is not the experience you have when you play Overwatch, because you're in first person or third person and you're just playing the different gameplay styles in this effectively a hero-based first-person shooter. The commercials for Hearthstone center around a child character, making Hearthstone seem like it is very much for and focused around children playing it, when it really isn't. It's child friendly enough, but I would say I suspect there's way more adults playing Hearthstone than children, because Hearthstone is too complicated a game and too long of a game for kids to want to really play it. And the trailers focus around a bunch of World of Warcraft heroes playing Hearthstone, the card game, in a tavern, and that's this meta story that's not really expanded or said when you're actually playing the game. Deal 4 damage to all enemy minions, shuffle this into your deck. Discover legendary minions, summon 5 copies of it. That'd be interesting, certainly. Which is more useful in late game? I would say this is. I'm gonna take that just for variety's sake more than anything else. Add a copy of each of your battlecry minions to your hand. Add a 5/5 horror to your hand. Teach it 2 shaman spells. Kelth is old. I'm gonna take another Kelth is old. just have two of them.
Don't start a fight in here. Or do. I could care less.
And so we have our first tavern options where we can rebuild and modify our deck, which this is cutting edge. This changes it quite a bit. Okay. So I can choose a friendly minion. It always starts in your hand. I can fill the tavern with new minions. I could look at 4 spells and then from your adventure deck and choose one to remove, or I can remove a friendly minion. Okay. I don't see a reason to do much here.
I can always enjoy a quiet night.
Let's see, so let's just do Brood.
Rough day.
And we'll just refresh. Okay. Now our choices is we could always start with Knife Juggler, which would be cool. Let's see. So always start with the Knife Juggler. I could steal an enemy minion. And get Arthas if I wanted. I could get rid of a spell, and I could get rid of a minion.
Take your time. Enjoy the atmosphere.
Let's see. So I'll take Arthas. Why not? Let's get rid of this elemental since he's not really doing anything for us. And then let's kindle a spell.
Burning in here?
Yeah, we'll just get rid of that. So we can play all of our cards. And so that changed how our deck plays now a little bit, making it easier to get to the cards we want to get to. And I think the 2 opportunities in a run you have to change your deck really makes it more likely for you to win compared to any other changes you could make.
Let me guess. You forgot your library card?
Alright. So we want to see, this will silence all minions, so immediately my strategy of playing Knife Juggler is in question. But whatever.
I learned this one from an old
Also, Kel'Thuzad would be in question, and a lot of other things will be in question. This will summon in 4 turns, this will summon in 6.
Put this apple on your head.
This will be silenced and then be able to attack. Could kill this. I mean, it very possibly may try. Or we could just leave things as they are. So let's leave things as they are and see what happens. Interesting, it chose to attack even though it could have just done something different.
I'm drop dead gorgeous.
Let's see. If your opponent's turn, summon a 2/2 ghoul. This one summons a 5/5 skeleton for me, so I would probably want that. Let's see, how do we want to play this?
Perhaps I can end this soon.
Feel the power.
Keep your voice down.
Just go ahead and kill that. So, field control there.
The gates are open.
Okay. This would give me a death rattle to add a random Death Knight card. This would give me...
Why are your friends so loud? No music in the library.
Okay. So, give all minions in your hand and deck... was that -1? No, that's +1. Yeah, why would somebody have a card that said -1?
Farewell.
To war.
That. And then in the turn. I can't really do anything right now. Let's see. This. That.
Mind if I roll knee?
Mists quench you.
Hey, give me that.
So yeah, we've got 2 Kel'Thuzul's. We've got an Arthas that, even with 1 Kel'Thuzul and an Arthas on the field, would work rather well to give me basically infinite Death Knight cards.
You never know what you will find in an old dusty scroll. Ah, the new hire.
So we're just kind of looking at tavern,
Interesting day. Good luck.
at totems, and let's see, totems and other things. Overload cards. That's what we're trying to play. Is that?
Mists quench you.
Is there anything else we want to do? Nope. Just take victory. So, okay. Next. This would summon more totems every time there's on this battle cry. Do we need a 3rd Kel'Thuzul? No. Do we want to go with Murlocs? No. So we'll just take this.
I despise amateur snake handling. Show him how it's done.
So they are trying to make the Shadow bosses, Rise of Shadow bosses, more characters. They made a special tavern brawl where you were supposed to recognize these characters and find them interesting. But they really can't be more than just a short collection of lines of dialogue. And they don't have any actual effect on the game, it seems. Just give Cthulhu upgrades. It's odd. How can they even be playing Cthulhu? cards. Why would they be playing Cthulhu cards? Considering I'm pretty sure Cthulhu cards would be in Wild.
Perhaps I can end this soon.
I guess I can't do anything, so might as well just end the turn.
You're not a customer.
What's their special ability?
This
Craft
one's
a
popular.
custom
It's easy
exotic
to train.
pet. Okay. Let's overload and kill that. If he plays poison cards every turn, that's going to be somewhat of a problem. The strategy should work a little bit better this time.
This isn't moonlight.
Yeah, keep some common pets around too.
Let's see. Play this, and I'm hoping it hits this twice. And it didn't. But that's alright, we can do that. There we go. Whenever a friendly minion dies. Okay.
One by one.
Okay, this seems like this is fine. We're gonna get it done and probably win in the next couple of turns. Just that. And let's see. Be nice.
Feel the power.
But it's not gonna work. We needed that to hit that, so we can do that. Although I guess I could have attacked with that too. Yeah.
Come on, at least pick up after it. Now, that one's boring.
Okay. So I'm gonna kill this one, and then that'll just leave this one and this one to attack. This one is only in rush mode. Next turn we can play Kel'Thuzad and resummon things. And totems would be the only things of slight concern.
Soldiers of the cold dark, obey the call of
Do that. And that. That. played that way. Specifically, that was dumb. But I think we'll be fine.
Feel the power of the winds.
He's got nothing. Okay. Play this, do that, and win. These still very much feel easier. Feels rather laid back. Here. And here's the Potion of Vitality. These are treasures from previous expansions, so that they're bringing them back or moving them forward, which is a good idea considering how otherwise you'd have to reinvent the wheel every single time. Doubling my starting health is almost certainly what I need. A spell damage plus 3 is not likely to be used at all in this card. Your cards cost half, but you can only play 2 cards each turn, which, I mean, that wouldn't be terrible. Like, most of the cards I have, they cost half. But then I'd play all my cards. So doubling your starting health is the best move there. And I want to win this time. At least. Maybe later. Give your totems plus 2 attack. Gain +1/+1 for each totem. And another totem card. Or the Lich King. Do I need more legendaries though? I don't think so.
You aren't taking a break, are you? There's work to be done.
So now we can manipulate our deck the second time. Let's see. We could tell a story, give a friendly minion +2/+2 for this run. We could burn a spell. Choose a friendly minion, add 3 copies to your adventure deck. We can dismiss a minion, choose an enemy minion, add it to your deck. Death rattles trigger twice. The thing is, I don't really know what's in my deck. Wasn't paying that much attention. Battle Cry or Death Rattle? Which one do you think?
What would Corvec do?
Which one do I think? I think I have Death Rattle, so I'm going to take that. And I'm going to dismiss this because I don't think that's going to do anything. And give an amalgam +2/+2. Probably not a terrible idea. Add 3 copies to your adventure deck. Yeah, let's do that.
I appreciate the extra business.
So now I can burn spell. Is there a spell that we really want to get rid of? We'll get rid of this one, I guess.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
The good lieutenant is this prison's last line of defense.
So we're on challenge 6 of 8, so there's 2 more challenges after this, 2 more bosses. But I think we're in a good position.
Versus Lieutenant Sinclari.
Unless I just get really, really unlucky. This prison element of having a minion on the field to start with doesn't really seem like it changes much. Apparently the lieutenant is not happy in her lot in life. Yeah, 80 health to 55. Give a minion +2 health and taunt. Job done. This is gonna give your totems +2 attack. That won't do anything for her. Interesting. Is this all she's gonna summon? Is a bunch of these? This death rattle.
Put this apple on your head.
See what happens.
Out of my jungle!
So do I want to power up this guy, or do I want to play this? I'm gonna play this and hope it's the taunt one, and it was good. Kinda need this guy to be healed or protected for a while. I guess I should have probably attacked this guy. Right, so that strategy failed at this point. So we'll just move on to the next strategy. And we do have Rush, so we'll use it. Yeah, if I had just summoned that one earlier, so it would have healed the knife thrower.
Come on then, put your backs into it.
We stand together.
So now these have +1 attack for the Curing Tor Guard. Place your other minions in your hand, they cost 1. Return your other minions to your hand, they cost 1. Right. This. And that. And that. I have so much health right now that I still feel like I'm in a pretty good position. Let's see. This. Just realized I probably could have used that trick before to now rush and attack something, even though I don't really want to rush or attack anything. Well, if I survive a couple turns, I can play this and turn the game around. Summon 5 legendaries. It'd be surprising if they gave me a pick of 3 legendaries that are all really bad. Let's see. This works. And then this
Elements
works.
I like. Totems I love.
Behold!
Totally.
There we go. We're 54 to 54, so they did take a decent amount of life out of me. I would probably lose if I didn't have the thing I do have. Let's see. Each player gets set each player to 5 mana crystals. Both players get the power of the rock. If you played an elemental. Let's just do this. There we go. And they all have rush. So this
is mine. The power is mine. The power is mine.
Behold!
yeah, that worked rather well. Can I play an elemental last turn? I could do that. What would that do? Cast an elemental invocation. I have no idea what that would do. Let's see.
The power is mine.
Behold!
I want to do this.
I wake once more.
And we can play that.
The might of Dalara has arrived.
And
Rumble!
Behold!
let's see, do I have any more overload or totem cards?
I serve the Fire Lord.
We stand together.
Alright. So I'm gonna play this first, and then this. And then let's just see what elemental invocation is. Fill your board with 1/1 elementals, deal 6 damage to the enemy hero, 3 damage to all enemy minions. Well, I guess we could do 6 damage to the enemy hero if we needed to. Let's do this some more. Let's see. Yeah. Do that twice. That clears the board. And yeah, nothing more, so win. Victory via elemental invocation. I would have lost that though if I didn't have double the health. Still don't want to do Murlocs. I don't think I really need more legendaries. Overload cards I think are it.
Icaron is
2
pure
more.
hate in liquid form. Magnificent.
2 more bosses. Unless he manages to defeat me.
Vecina versus Icaron.
And I assume some of these bosses might have some relation to the World of Warcraft storyline. Quite frankly, if Activision Blizzard wasn't being run by accountants and fools, it seems like, then they would have done a Telltale style game that was set in the World of Warcraft universe to tell a story. Certainly the Pixar trailer animation that we see as advertisements, if they could maintain that level of quality and do a like very little choice, straight story experience just to catch people up, that would work nicely in my mind. But I don't know if anything would really get too many new people into playing World of Warcraft or World of Warcraft Classic, now that that is either available or soon to be available. What's this ability? Gives a friendly minion Divine Shield. And this is gonna, whenever you play a spell, draw a card. And this is gonna take 9 turns. Just gonna play totems and see what we can do. See, that's pointless. Actually, I shouldn't have done that because he'll just use his ability again. It's only one friendly minion Divine Shield, but that's enough. Discover a card with overload, overload. Suppose we are just going to have to work our way through that taunt minion.
The tides come for you. I am a force of nature.
If we could get to Kelth Azul, I guess we might be safe. Okay, this is not a bad overload card to have. Job done. This breaks in the next turn also.
Flames consume you.
I am fury, unrestrained. I got the best deal anywhere.
Okay. So what I want is the spell damage +1 minion. I didn't get it. So then I want this.
Oh, you would turn the storm against me. The tide shall return.
Two more turns.
Now to the wrath of the pounding sea.
Okay. Deal a bunch of damage to everybody. Sure. He's at 77 health, I'm at 53. We're potentially gonna be in trouble here.
can hold any form. Rust and crumble before the raging waters!
Don't have a lot of opportunities so far.
You cannot turn the tide of battle!
I can play this.
You cannot stop the cloud here.
I can play this. And then I guess
Mists quench you. Of course.
you can just try to reduce the amount of damage I'm taking. How's he on cards? He has 16 out of 17.
Minions, servants, soldiers of the cold dark, obey the call of kill. Pray for mercy.
Just get rid of that guy. Maybe I can get lucky and this guy won't be dead, but almost certainly will.
Overcome any obstacle!
I need that spell that summons 5 legendaries. That would be very helpful right now. Or can I play something with this? I mean, I have 9, so that wouldn't really work. Do that, though. And let's see. It would turn minions to my hand. I don't know why that would help. Okay. Destroy all minions, retrieve the top cards from each minion deck for each minion destroyed. Interesting. That's an interesting move, I suppose.
Chaos beckons.
Let's try this. Oh, well that destroyed a bunch of my cards, didn't it? I did not understand how that card was going to work, clearly.
Take any shape!
Did you bring some fish?
This would be something I could turn to the field. Well, I've got 2 spell damage up.
These cursed spells I give
This
to thee.
and this. kill this, but I don't need to. Not yet. This won't work in its current state. Just won't, so we need that. And then maybe we could play with this, but that's not enough. That's enough, I think.
Break yourself upon my body.
Seriously, 2 of these? Okay. Maybe if I could return this to my hand and play it a second time, that would work. Let's see. Turn your other minions to your hand. They cost 1. Deal 5 to 6 to damage to all minions. I don't have enough mana to do it.
What would Corvec do?
I need to play this, hope it's the one that can attack, and it isn't. So that's a waste. I'm playing overload cards, that's the one thing, but everything is not working and I'm on the verge of losing because of it. Let's see. Battlecry, add a copy of each of your other Battlecry minions to your hand. He's got 9 more cards. I don't see how he's not going to win. And I think that's where the second week is going to just end, because we'll get a daily quest eventually to do this all. But if I tried today,
does not tolerate failure. But we are a bit short-handed, so feel free to try again.
and see, if the game did something amazing here and let me retry the battle right now, that would be great. But it's not going to let me do that. But we did get progress, so now we could play Evolution, which would transform our friendly minion into one that costs 1 more, which is a better hero ability, frankly, than summoning a totem. And we now have Primal Stones deck. And we can also play draw a card and overload once. The ability to re-challenge the boss you just tried is the #1 thing I would have liked for them to add in this solo expansion, and they didn't add that. That being said, apparently the reward was to just play, not specifically win. So week 2, next Thursday, I guess, we'll continue this. And I don't think there's really any reason to try and get victories. Take note here that you would potentially at some point need to get a victory for each chapter for each of the 9 heroes, because it puts a little gold crown over the heroes. So they're talking no less than 9 times 5 games, 45 games, 45 victories that they want you to do. What would that unlock? I don't think it unlocks anything other than bragging rights. You can play heroic mode right now. In comparison, like, there is no heroic mode for Rumble Run, and Rumble Run was fine but not great. Boomsday Project with the puzzle lab, I think, was more of a thinking man's game and very, very different from playing Hearthstone. I'd say the Delarian Heist is mostly still playing Hearthstone, and Delarian Heist is best compared to
for the terrible power.
To the Witchwood here with the Monster Hunt, and Kobolds and Catacombs with the Dungeon Run. Of course, if you're a new player, you probably don't have Naxxramas or Blackrock Mountain or Karazhan even. Like, a lot of these solo expansions are just gone, and there's kind of nothing you can do to get them. So new players are kind of consistently getting screwed out of old content, both in the fact that card packs and expansions are moving into WoW, and there's no reason to play WoW. Daily quests don't push you to do that, and it's not balanced in any way. So golden rare's probably not worth much. So mostly all we're trying to do here is see if we can find an epic or legendary. Yeah. And I suppose we're in this position where we can, particularly for me, since I have a European and Asian account, at some point I would want to do those solo expansions on those accounts too. But there really isn't much of a reason to. I just, theoretically, within the next year, you would just want to unlock the expansion and make sure you own it. But there's really no reason to get victories. So that's going to be week 1 of the solo adventure. For people watching live, I'm going to end the stream, take a break, and then start to stream up again in the next 20 minutes or so and play our normal Hearthstone coverage. So make sure you're subscribed and you've clicked the notification bell, and maybe you even have to click the notification bell so it pops up to make sure you get all notifications. I had a subscriber just the other week telling me that they hadn't gotten any notifications whatsoever and that they thought I hadn't been streaming for a very long time, and that's absolutely not true. I've been streaming very consistently, and YouTube just doesn't put out the notifications. That's it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. The Steam summer sale is coming, so that would be a great time to do that. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.